somewhere on a lofty mountain. C.F.R. On an Indian village. There lives a greedy peasant. Every day he cultivated his land, but he is not satisfied with this.
Oh, I'm so tired. Oh God, when will I be rich and rest from this tiredness? When will I be like a king, with servants around me in a palace, like palace of kings, and my wife obeying my orders?
Yes, the peasant often wished that something magical would happen to him. And that day, as he sat there, daydreaming, he suddenly saw something gliding stealthy through the grass towards a big rock. It was followed by another, and yet another.
Oh, snakes?
Yes, they were finely marked serpents, with colorful glistening seals. Suddenly the great rock fell asunder, showing a long passage in the ground, into which the serpents glided, one by one.
Oh, I can't believe it. I better go find what is going on. A man seldom beholds such majestic sight in his lifetime.
And so, as curiosity got the better of him, the peasant followed the venomous creatures, and pressed boldly into the rock gallery, a staircase as dark as the far side of the moon, led him down to a cave, lit by the gleam of many precious gems that lined its walls. In its center stood a magnificent throne of gold, set with emeralds and sapphires, and coiled upon this was an enormous serpent with gleaming eyes. The peasant, having seen the precious gems, forgot all about fear. As his greed took over him, he hid himself behind a half wall, and watched in anticipation all the snakes gathered under the throne of their king. Then they looked at him, who hissed a soul-piercing hiss, and then closed his eyes. As soon as he did that, all the snakes immediately fell asleep.
Now is my time. Thank you God, I shall finally have my golden house.
Seizing the opportunity, the peasant came out and walked across to wall, examining the jewels.
I wish I had carried a sack with me. But fine. I will fill my pockets as much as I can.
And so, he began to try to detach the precious gems from the wall. He tried and tried, but it was impossible to pluck them out.
I should have known better. This place is enchanted, and an ordinary man like me can never take these gems out of here. I better leave, for if these reptiles wake up, I'm done.
The peasant made his way back through the long passage, his heart pounding. But as soon as he reached the entrance, he realized that it was closed, and there was no way he could open it.
Oh no, this is it. The end of me.
There he sat lamenting his foolish act, and he thought of his wife with whom he would now be, had he not been so greedy.
Oh, my wife. My wife.
He cried and cried until he fell into a deep slumber. Strangely, it was the most peaceful sleep that he had ever slept, until he was awakened by the hissing. His heart jumped into his mouth, and he carefully walked down the stairs, to see all the snakes woke up, gaze at their monarch, stupefied.
Is it time, King? Is it time?
Is it time, King? Is it time?
Is it time, King, is it time?
The Snake King hissed and then said,
Yes, it is time.
Then, gliding down from his throne, he led them through the grotto back to the rock. It opened as he touched it, and every serpent passed slowly out before him. The peasant thought it was his chance, and made a dart towards the opening. When the Serpent King turned its head, hissed menacingly. So strong was the hiss that the peasant fell off the stairs, and felt his heart almost explode.
You entered our abode without invitation, and then tried to sneak out. You will pay for intrusion.
Let me through. I beg you, gracious king. My wife is waiting for me at home. She has no one in the world but me.
At this, the angry pupils of the Snake King calmed down.
Okay, I will let you go this time, if you give me your soul and promise that you will reveal our home to anyone.
I promise you. I promise you.
The Snake King nodded, and let him pass out of the rock. The peasant didn't believe himself, came out of the rock, and hurried straight for his home. As he approached his cottage, he saw a stranger standing by the door. He waited and watched.
Is your husband at home?
Unfortunately, no. I have not seen him since yesterday, when he went out to cultivate the land. I'm afraid that something bad happened to him.
Touched by her distress, the peasant now came forward. The wife, upon seeing him, rejoiced and cried from excessive happiness.
Now, my good man, where have you been since yesterday? It's not very gentlemanly of you to leave your wife alone, is it?
I was?
Where?
Yes, where were you?
Is there another in your life?
Oh no.
No. Never. I love my wife.
Then answer this gentleman, where were you?
Thus pressed, the peasant reluctantly confessed the existence of the underground cave, and the stranger, who happened to be a magician in disguise, forced him not only to guide him there, but to reveal the manner of entrance.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Trust me, friend. I'm a magician. The Snake King do us any harm. We will collect the gems, and then share it equally.
At this, the eyes of the peasant shone, and he forgot about his promise that he had made to the Snake King. Greed took over him once again. Next, he ushered the magician to the big rock, and on touching the rock it opened. It opened immediately and let them through. Inside the cave, which was strangely empty now, the magician slowly began to tap on the gems with his hands. And by one, they began to fall from the wall, and into his basket.
Ha ha! We will become the richest men in the whole world.
But just then, they felt the breath of a being behind them. A chill ran down the peasant's spine, and the two turned around slowly. It was the Snake King, who now looked bigger than ever, and his rage was so great that peasant thought his end had come.
Do not fear, my friend.
The hiss of the Snake King now turned into a growl, as he slowly began to turn into a giant dragon.
Oh no!
The peasant made a run for his life, but the cave was small and confined.
You betrayed me.
With a powerful strike, the peasant was flying into the air, but luckily for him, he landed on the back of the dragon, The dragon, now angrier and more furious, made a loud roar, and leapt into the air, and flew out of the cave. The dragon flew higher and higher, until the peasant grew dizzy and lost his breath. But in the blue sky above him, he could hear the sweet clear notes of a soaring lark.
Dear Lord, I have learned my lesson. Please forgive me for what I have done.
At that moment, the lark came flying beside the dragon.
Are you really sorry? Or will you do it again? If you are forgiven this time too.
What can I say but this? I have learned it in the hard way once, and the hardest way the next.
Okay, we shall see.
Saying that, the lark flew up to the dragon's beak, and backed on it once. The dragon immediately turned into a snake, and then gravity did what it does the best. When the peasant regained consciousness, he was on his farmland, and the flocks around him, and in the distance, he could see his wife beckoning to him from his cottage door.
I must have been dreaming. Wow. What a dream it was. I guess sometimes dreams teach you more than life itself. From now on, I will stop daydreaming and work hard.
And with that, he went home to his wife. From behind the tree, the Snake King emerged and smiled, as he watched the peasant go. It then turned into the lark and flew away. Maybe in search of someone else, who needs an intervention in their dream.